today with Marc Laporte from TikiWiki and Hilmo from Microsoft. And I'm Marc-André Lanceau from Impress CMS. And today we'd like to discuss how we have been integrating our open source project to make it work on IIS. So maybe you can start?
Well, we've been actually wanting to have a better support for IIS for a while. So it was officially supported, but we'd run into problems and we weren't really good at responding to them, and so we had this idea, this project, to say, well, let's get better to have on this issue. And we had also seen the Microsoft Web Platform Installer, which lets you have basically a double-click experience to installing a web app, which is something which is really needed. So we had on our roadmap to sort of try to improve this, and you know how it is, really busy, lots of stuff to do. It's been there for a while, and then got in contact with some people at Microsoft, a bit by luck, and said, okay, because it's tough for us to say, well, oh, we want to improve this. What do we do? Do we write to info@microsoft.com? Where do we start? Luckily, in an open source conference at FSOS, in Toronto, we met some people from Microsoft and were able to basically get this going. And so basically they were asking, what can we do? And eventually we said the big thing, what we needed is basically expertise, people that know IIS well and can help us with that. So that's how we got in touch.
Because this is the major problem we're having. We're not working really much on IIS, so even if we would like to integrate our open source project with that, we wouldn't know where to start.
That's right.
And this is probably where Wade came in to help us doing that. So how was your experience helping TikiWiki to integrate with IIS?
I think it went fairly well. I enjoyed it. One of the things that's kind of a challenge for us on IIS is reaching out to application developers, particularly in the open source community, and getting them to integrate and work with our software. I was contacted by Microsoft Canada, and they asked if I'd be willing to come out and talk to the Tiki folks, and I did that, and it went really well. I was able to do a little bit ahead of time. I was able to get version 4.1 of Tiki and do some work with it back in Redmond, and then when I brought it in, we had a pretty good head start and were able to get right off demonstrating how it could work and getting the pieces in place.
What were the problem you encountered implementing TikiWiki with IIS?
To be honest with you, it went fairly smoothly. We've been spending the last couple of years on the IIS team focusing very heavily on making the PHP experience better on Windows and with IIS. And as a part of that, we've had a chance to work with a lot of different PHP applications, and so most of the things that would have been a real challenge for us a few years ago, we've already got quite a bit of experience doing.
Great. So have you been working with a TikiWiki installed on IIS?
Well, so far it's been for tests, and we know that some people have them in production, but for us we have some basically for tests for now. And so the IIS support was there, right? But the big thing that wasn't there at all is the web platform installer. So that's the big new thing, and we think that by having it in web platform installer and having more people using it, we're going to have a larger community and more bug reports, and it'll let us
Can you
get
explain
better.
a little bit what is the web platform installer?
Sure. One of the things that's always been difficult with any web server, including IIS, is taking an application and then deploying it in a production server environment. What we've done is we've kind of taken a look at the parts that make up the web applications, and we built really two things. The first thing that we built was a framework where the web platform installer could go out and it could find what components of the web server were needed, what kind of support was needed in the web server, what some of the dependencies might be, kind of build a tree and be able to bring that stuff in. The second part of the web platform installer is actually called the application gallery. What the application gallery is, it's a manifest of different applications that don't come from Microsoft. And what we've really done, we think of this as making Tiki work with the web platform installer. What we've really done is we've integrated Tiki into the application gallery. And so web platform installer goes out, then it finds a list of all of the applications in the manifest, and then it's able to pull those down, run them through the web platform installer, and put your machine into a running state with very little interaction.
Okay, and I have little problems seeing this, so maybe you can help me. Is it actually I'm seeing one screen and I'm clicking on something and it would install TikiWiki directly without any configuration at all?
There's a couple of cases where we have to ask for some user input. What we did at Tiki for the demonstration was I took a machine that had IIS installed and nothing else. We went out to the internet. From there we downloaded the web platform installer. The web platform installer said that TikiWiki was available. We were using a test file for this. We weren't actually pulling the manifest off the internet. And we clicked on Tiki. When we did that, it went out and noticed that PHP was not installed on the machine. It noticed that MySQL was not installed on the machine. It noticed that the MySQL connector was not installed on the machine. And it went and selected those automatically. Once you see that, you say, I accept, and allow it to begin installing. PHP can install without user interaction. The database connector can install without user interaction. When it goes to install MySQL, it prompts you for the root administrator name and password, and then it sets that into MySQL. Once it's completed installing the prerequisites, then it goes out to install Tiki. When it goes out to install Tiki, there's a few things that Tiki would normally do in its installation routine where you'd go in and make some configuration changes. What we've done with the application gallery and web platform installer is we parameterized that. So we've produced some XML files that tell web platform installer what questions Tiki needs to ask. And then it says where in Tiki's files those changes need to be made. And so the experience you get when it goes to install Tiki is it brings up a dialog box. And at the top it'll say, we're going to install TikiWiki. And then it says, what's your MySQL database?
Awesome. And what are the typical questions that you need to know when installing TikiWiki?
So for sure we need like what's the password? What's for the admin account? What's the email of the admin account? What's the sender email of the system? And we've added actually those in the installer and support because typically if people don't set it there, they're going to have to do it later on. And later on they may be like, already like, where do I find this in the admin panel? So now at least we solved the absolute minimum cases, and this like really cuts down on support questions.
So it's the only really information you need when installing TikiWiki that the web platform installer needs, right?
Yeah, so username, password for the admin account, email, sender email.
So name of the database is created automatically, the paths are created automatically, nothing else is needed from the user. That's great. Cool.
Yeah.
So when do we expect officially the TikiWiki to be available with the web platform installer?
That's going to be dependent on the Tiki folks.
Yeah. So well, basically now we have like an end-to-end, like it works, right? And I see that. So now it's just a question of testing it and going through things. So I would say that now we're releasing 5.0 soon. So we're going to start testing this. I would say within a month or two we'll be ready to add it. And I think once we make application to add it, it's maybe like a few more weeks after. So I would say within 3 months we should have it fully available, version 5. Because actually we have version 5 that's coming out now, so we want to work on this one, the new one, and not do it on the stable version.
Great. And if we want to know more about TikiWiki, we go where?
TikiWiki.org.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks.